All right, welcome back. We on Procrastination Podcast. Talk about anime, life, and everything in between. My name's Matt,
I'm Robert.
I'm Alonzo.
I'm King.
and he's our special guest for the day. We've had a couple of special guests up here, but we guys want to get a little more diversity to our panel here today. A little more diversity of thought because we still all black, so diversity of thoughts is what we're bringing into the podcast
Right.
today. But again, how's y'all day been? Y'all week been? Haven't talked too much. Busy.
Been pretty uneventful, man. Like I work and I come home. Well, actually, no, big thing, big life changes happening because it's close to Matt's birthday, so we were gonna be like he wants us to be, and we're exercising every day for Matt's birthday. Yeah, and I've been doing that shit, and it is awful. I hate my life. Every morning I wake up and in pain, and I think this is for him, right? Like I'm just angry about it. Like, yeah, okay. Walking, I'm limping into work, limping into work. Okay. Anyways, that's my life. Changes in my life. I'm on the bike, going basically like 5 miles at least. So, I mean, that's something. Heart's pumping. That feels good though.
Good. You will know pain. Good.
Mhm.
Good. You should. Love is pain, and I feel the love through your pain. Thank you.
Pain is
Yes. Thank
pleasure.
you. For masochists.
We're baskets for sure.
All right. How about you, Lonzo? Anything going on for you?
I'm in pain too. I've been exercising too, but not because of your birthday. Because my car broke down earlier in the week, and I was like,
Ah,
"Damn!" I took this as a sign that I should start doing my life better. I don't know why I took it as that sign, but I was like, you know what? Let me start exercising, and I'll put it under the guise of doing it for Matt. I'm not doing it
Yes.
for you. I'm doing it for me. I'm a selfish person, but just been walking at least 2 miles every day, hitting the bench, hitting the bike, and I'm hurting so bad. But I'm doing it, and my car's fixed, so I've been going into work. God, I hate work, but we persevere.
Fair enough.
right.
Oh man. Uh, it's more the same, like actually kind of eventful, trying to get more done in life. So just watching a bit more anime. Like I said, I started a new anime. I started Psycho Pass. Little interesting. I actually did fall asleep on it. I'm gonna try it again. But it was a little eventful. There was a lot going on for a first episode. Some start pretty slow, but it was a pretty cool week. I got a new car, similar to Lonzo. Some craziness happened, so got a new car. Beautiful, beautiful car, and just trying to work really hard. That's it.
Nice, nice. All right, everybody doing some good things this week, positive things. I've been working night shift, so I haven't been seeing any of it.
He's
but,
been
but
hurting.
Man,
yes, I am. I'm feeling the pain as well in a
Mm.
different way. I did not sleep at all yesterday, so I was up from what was that? What was it like 12 noon till like 6 a.m. today?
Oh
No, like
God.
7 a.m. today. Like 7 a.m. today, yeah. So yeah, almost but almost 20 hours. Almost 20 hours straight.
that's straight
It was
natural
terrible.
energy.
Yeah, I don't drink caffeine. I don't drink coffee. No sodas for me.
Woo.
So it was awful. Don't do it. If you ever have the choice, don't do it. But the end of my night shift, the guy I was working with, he was a guy I'm working with in the night shift, and we were trying to stay up because we had ish to do, finish. And I was like, what do you be watching? What are you gonna watch your day off? And he was like, just whatever common stuff. A lot of my shows are done. And I was like, oh, you watching the anime? He's like, oh, not really. People been telling me to get into it. And I'm like, oh, really? People tell you to get into what they've been telling you to watch. So of course he talked about the basic stuff, Demon Slayer and all that sort of stuff. I think someone told him to watch like Full Metal when I said One Piece, that was a terrible, terrible thing to start someone with. But anyway,
Terrible.
but then he said that everyone, he's like, yeah, yeah, but a lot of people at work, it seems like they all watch anime. And I'm like, what? No, I was like, that's I've been at this job for a year longer than you, and I can confirm majority of people on our job do not watch anime. Like, so I was shocked that he even said that. But again, he named a few other people. So then the people that came in for the day shift, I asked them if they each watched it. They both said no. Prove my point that most people do not watch anime. But I did think it was cool that there is at least a few people in and around my job that do watch anime. But and you'd be surprised to know this, they're all adults. All of these people are adults that watch anime, including and very successful and capable and good, well-rounded adults. And I think there's always this misconception around anime that it isn't, something that is adults or something that is for those that are like properly raised and properly, manly and adult-like in their life and what they're doing and not making things happen. Like you're just some sort of bum sitting on the couch watching TV, like we're all neats that watch anime, right? Which I think is a crazy assumption, but it is a very common assumption. But that leads us into the topic for today, which is very, very relevant, I think, and that is adult themes in and around anime. Because again, it is definitely not. I mean, and there are certain anime that are 100% not for children at all. How y'all feel about the topic today?
Yeah. When this first came up, I was thinking, man, this is what we need to tell people, right? This is what I think my mom and like all these like older generation, like they think anime because it's animated, it is cartoon, which means it is for kids, and that is incorrect on so many levels. Like I'm
right.
I'm ready.
Like when you
Yeah, you always hear people say it's for kids, like cartoons and anime go hand in hand when they don't. So my topic today, I hope I bring everybody down.
That's why we started so high, so we can just go fucking right to the ground.
Knock them all down. I mean, well, again, like it's crazy when you think about it. Like I'm the youngest guy in my job. And I think it's wild. I've been the youngest guy on every job I've ever worked at. It's crazy to think about it. But yeah, everywhere I've ever worked at, maybe only one other person watch anime. So it's like people don't really give it that they don't care for it because of the medium. They're like, oh, it's cartoons. I don't want to watch cartoons. And there's so many good things about it. You just wish you could actually get into it. But to your point earlier about everything having its negativity, everything has its World of Warcraft sit back guy, do its bad thing. Everything has its jock that's dumb. Everything has its problematic point. But if people just give things a chance, they like it.
Right. And I always say that anime might not be for everybody in general, but there is an anime for everyone. I am positive of that. And I recommended this guy an anime that I think he's going to really like. It was Blue Lock because he's a big soccer fan. I told him to watch it. He's like, and his response to just looking up was like, what? I didn't even know there was an anime like this. And I was like, yeah, I got you now, don't I? But again, people just like you said need to give it a chance. I'm not saying you're gonna love every single one of them, but I guarantee there's at least one out there that you will.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah,
I agree.
We got some points today, right?
Yeah, I've given a lot of different ones a chance. Not to take it away from you, Robert, but again, to that, I know that I love battle style anime. So just in general, I love I love conflict because I love resolution. Then I know everything has problems in life. So as long as you have the ability to get through it, it's pretty dope. And like I said, anime just has a dope way of delivering it like that. So it's so many cool ones when you look at it that way. In adult themes, you look at seinen. People don't really get into seinen that much. Every time they think about anime, like say think of Naruto or they pronounce it wrong Naruto, or they think of the same old things like that. Like, bro, it's not the same old stupid Dragon Ball Z. Everybody yelling, no, bro, it's more than just the same old that you know.
Exactly.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to bring up to talk about in general, or I'll start it off this way. One of the main things I watch is romances. I don't know what it is about drama that like sets me. That's just I don't know. It's just the right mood sometimes, and so you'll watch so many romances and it'll be super black and white. Like these two people, they love each other, they get together, they live happily ever after. That is romance in anime. A lot of times for ones that are for kids. But then there's some that come out and it's like, no. This is showing you the true thing that is, the the fight
true
that is
nuances.
romance, right? Yeah, like
The ups and the downs.
right. So like one of the ones that we talk about all the time, but now bring it up here in this
I knew you were gonna
particular
bring it up.
Scum's Wish.
Just go with this thing every time.
So-
Perfect example though.
So how this story is, right? So there's a student, he, it is, we're talking about adult things, but this guy, he is a child. He is in high school and he is like, just like, I don't want to enter in a relationship with all these kids. These kids, they don't see me like I see me, right?
Yeah.
But I know that I am in love with this teacher and I want to get with her, right? And she's like, you would think it'll be, oh, if this is a kid anime, she's going to, hey, get away from me. Fuck that shit.
Right.
You're a child, right?
Mhm.
No.
Right.
This goes, oh yeah, you want to fuck? Let's fuck, right? Immediately. and then it goes into like, oh well, he catches feelings because of course you have sex with a teacher, you gonna catch feelings.
Put that work on you, boy.
and then she's like, no, we just fucked. That's it. This is the adult world, son. I'm going to marry this other guy in front of you. And that's how the show goes. I mean, too late to say
Yeah.
spoiler alert, but that is the whole show. And
Yeah.
it's so funny how it shows you so, like, this is true. This is true adults here. This is kids going into the adult world, hitting them hard as hell. Like, fuck you.
Take it. This is how you have to
Like,
accept it.
Your feelings aren't my feelings. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, it's so true, and so much. I love me some romance too. Love me some harem, love me some romance, all this stuff in anime. But like, yeah, like so many times in anime where there's these super understanding rejections, right? And like these super like simple, like, oh, I'll just try harder to get him next time, or I'll convince him, and like. This is not like that, It's like it's very straightforward, realistic, adult, like you said, adult like things. Like, and people might not. Again, sometimes people want to watch stuff to completely get away from the realities of things. Fair enough, fine. I totally understand that, and I definitely do that same thing with certain anime. But sometimes you just want something to reflect life. And people say art imitates life, and anime is art, and so it needs to reflect life at times too. And this is one of those examples where even if it's in a very undesirable and probably unappealing way to some people, it reflects life, and it is a really brilliant reflection because it was one of those things that I've been asking for. I think we both have been asking for, like these adult realistic romances in anime for a long time, and there are some, but they come along so far and few between. That when they do come along and when they deliver like this, it's not that this is so great, but it's just such a realistic take that's what makes it so great. And that's what makes us always want to talk about it. And I just love that. if someone was to go into this, be like, oh yeah, it's a common romance, people's whole, are just gonna be like shocked and shook by the whole thing. And I can highly almost guarantee that most people that would watch it would forget about the animated part of it for a good chunk of it because of how I just like dramatic and juicy things get as far as like the complex as freak feelings and emotions and relationships in that show. Like they get so real and the situationships are so relatable for a lot of people. It's crazy.
I gotta
There are
watch
so
it.
many entanglements in that show. I remember 2017 watching it. I was like, this is ruining my innocence right now.
Like,
But,
everyone has a side hoe, It's
Yeah.
awful.
Oh,
even lesbian. Everybody's getting cooked. I'm
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
dang, man, like this is is real life happening around here. People are really going through these things, but yeah, man, it was a shock watching that show. Definitely not for kids, to be sure.
Do not.
You're gonna be seeing some things.
Some things is right.
Now, what was it called again?
Scum's Wish.
Scums. The name of it
Yes.
tells it. Oh, it tells everything.
Exactly.
Ah,
Exactly.
I need to write that. Scum's Wish.
Yeah.
I will be on that later.
That is just crazy. But
I
like,
haven't
yeah,
watched many romance animes. Anime, like I said, animes I usually watch is battle, but I love a great story. So
Mhm.
I hate to kind of veer it off, but I also love a good. I mean, some they kind of do stay into with it. I love Mob. You see my guy Mob right there. He has his own romance that goes on a little bit. He has to deal with his turmoil and his heartbreak, and he actually grows up in the situation. So you talk about real life, circumstances, and a lot of animes, even child based like that. You'd be surprised how many actually deliver pretty well. Like I was
Yeah.
actually surprised at how they allowed him to mature and deal with that aspect of a woman that he chased for 3 seasons long, and even when he was a 4 or 5 year old, he loved that girl for so long, and it's like, no, he waited through hell for you to come there to tell you, nah,
True.
bro, you're okay. I don't want you, and he took it on the chin and said, you know what, it's more out there.
That
Cry like a bitch, but it's more out there.
I mean, yeah, bro. I felt that, and again, like you said, I mean, it's a little touches of these things in most anime, but again, that just goes back to people. Again, there's certain anime that are so good that you can find something in the anime for you, even if it is not necessarily that is the basis of the anime. And Mob has so many. We talked about this in a previous one. So many layers to Mob Psycho and those 3 seasons, excellent 3 seasons. And again, it's just about people giving it a try. But like, yeah, Scum's Wish is a far cry from Mob Psycho Romance. And like you said,
For sure.
it lives up to the name. It lives up to the name, and by the end of the show, you're like, yeah, I see why it's called that.
You dummy wishful bastards. I'm gonna love it.
Oh gosh, but how, Alonzo, you gonna bring us down a little further now?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be keeping it real. Keeping it real goes wrong. But I wanted to talk about one of the shows that's in my top 3 that came out in 2021, Odd Taxi. Now,
Okay.
people, if you watch this show, you may think, Alonzo, well, if you haven't seen the show, you'd be like, Alonzo, I looked it up and it's about people, animals, and animals walking around being like people. And this doesn't seem like a adult show. It seems like a kid's cartoon. And I'm like, no. We touch on a lot of different things in this show. And I wanted to touch on stress, depression, and escape. I think those are the 3 main themes of this show, especially with the main character Otakawa. But the show also touches on real life aspects like addiction to gaming, addiction to social media, tiring yourself out, stressing yourself out, trying to work hard and not getting any results out of it. Just dealing with other people you don't want to deal with, and it tackles all those subjects so great, and that's why I love the show. You got great dialogue, you got great humor, satire, cynicism, whatever, all the great things about that just make the thing work. It's a great show. But back to the stress, depression, and escape. The main character, he was in an accident when he was a child. Spoilers. I'm going to be spoiling the show. And he has a disease where he sees people as animals because he was bullied as a kid. And he was like, I want to be like an animal. Because they used to call him a hippo. And he was like, I want to be just like a hippo. So that's what he is. That's what he sees himself as in the show. And he escaped from the real world, seeing everybody as an animal. Now, granted, it's a disease in his brain, but he truly wants to escape other people because he was treated so badly. So now he's middle aged, and now he's not living the best of life. He's a taxi driver, hence the name Odd Taxi. He gets caught up in some mystery, and that kicks off the whole story. But he's not living the best life. He's have a hard job. He's stressed because of the mystery he has to deal with. It hits me so hard. Like, it's so real to me. Like, I deal with mental health issues. I deal with the stress, depression. I want to escape. That's why I watch anime. So those three things is why I pick Odd Taxi, and the main character is so relatable to me, just because of those aspects of that he tries to get through life, just dry humor, cynicism, just trying not to deal with people. I get that on so many levels.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
irony of the man who's a taxi driver not wanting to socialize at all, right? Like he does not that it is his job, but he hates socializing with everyone who enters his taxi. And yeah, like it's so, yeah, like you said, it's so relatable. Where I'm just like, yeah, he's thrown into this big situation where, I mean, he turns out to also be super smart, you know, like able to think about every next step. But like, you know, being thrown in this situation, what do? You know, you can kind of just only, like, you know, let things happen to you rather than, you know, do things directly yourself, which is, you know, super stressful is what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
you know, so again, spoilers, but like, like, imagine there's like a murderer, right? Like, this is kind of what it's about. But like, there's a murderer, and the murderer gets in your taxi. And he's like, all right, you know I killed somebody, but look, if you say anything, I'm gonna come back and kill you, because I kill people. That's what I do.
That's what I do.
And it's just
It's my
like,
job.
you know, like that amount of stress that puts it on you. You know, like I am only working my job, and now you threw this extra amount of stress on me that literally all I do, I don't care. Like, if you let me be my natural me, I would not even talk to you. You know, I would not talk to anyone. So just like, you know, adding this bit of stress to his life, which is definitely not deserved. And yeah, I mean, you know, in the end, you know, I would like to, you know, go up to the positive notes. You know, in the end, this man is like, you know, turns out to be super useful in this case, and turns out to be like, you know, like a great person overall too, right? Because like that's also part of the mystery, is like, did this main character kill the person? Does he not know that he's the killer, right? Like all these things. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. It definitely immediately in my top 10. I don't know. After I saw it, I was like, oh my god, like, still, you know, we spoiled so much, but like, still, you watch it, and the ending is the best ending I've ever seen in anime. Period. Like, in a long time. No. In a long time.
That's
Stop retracting your hot
boastful.
takes.
You're right.
That's so
The-
Stop
boastful.
retracting your hot
That-
takes.
That you're right. There's like 1 minute of the ending of the show that is so impactful that it, like, on levels of like Durarara level of like, bring everything and collapse it hard as shit at the end. It's so good. Anyways, that's not what this is about, but like, so good. And yeah, I mean, I had Odd Taxi going to talk about crime in general as like an adult theme, and Odd Taxi was up there, and I was like, yes. I'm like, man, like, you know, being directly inputted into this like crime world is crazy. But anyways, that I mean, who hasn't felt, you know, I won't say like who hasn't felt depressed, but like, who hasn't felt low, right? Like, who hasn't felt, you know, like, that is such a normal response, especially to stress directly, right? It's like, it's like, I mean, man, so you kind of feel, you feel so hard for him. Yeah, I agree.
Sounds like a deep one.
Yeah. I still been on my watch list, and I had to wait. I think I gotta wait to a de-stressed period in my life to watch that. Y'all know I can't handle certain levels of anime to bring me. It gotta be in the right place in life. Yeah, exactly. You gotta be in the right place in life. So I've been
I
waiting.
feel that.
Post test is Odd Taxi time, but but yeah, like I was, and it's like a couple. First off, that this it's amazing because it's interweaves between like I think our last couple of topics is one of our favorite character, most relatable characters, and then we kind of talked about like some of the memorable things in and around anime before as well, and like all those things kind of relate back kind of what Alonzo was saying. But then even in things we were talking about in adulthood in general about how we feel about adulthood, it kind of goes back to this same thing that the anime is showing. And again, it goes back to the point that yeah, it's represented in a certain art form that you may not, be used to. Because I can't even say you can't say you don't appreciate something without trying it. So I'll say you're not used to it.
Right.
So something you're not used to, but it's something that could really actually benefit you. Because I'll tell you directly, anime, like when I've been feeling a certain way, when you have something that can connect with you, can relate to you, and also show you ways that they work through it, or show you ways that it does work out in the end, that helps. Honestly, that helps. That helps your psyche, that helps your mental, that helps you to work through those same problems yourself. And people know this, people realize this is why they go to certain people for help because things. So if you can see something play out that's a similar situation or a similar feeling that you're working through, then that's always going to help you. But again, it's about giving it a try, and it's a very, very adult thing for sure. Because again, we talked about in our adults podcast episode
Mm.
about these feelings that are had, and there's so many times in anime where they're talking about people that are low, people that are. I mean, it's super common. They're talking about people that are thrown away, by family, by friends, given up on by everyone. Like that's super, super common in anime, and it's represented in different ways, but like it's a very, very common theme, and that they have to build themselves back up to be the best or to be competitive or to be, whatever their goal, which is typically some very lofty ambition to reach that. And
Rags to
like,
riches story.
right, right. That's a very, very, very common theme in anime in general. But like the levels of the lows are definitely different. And the ways that it's gone about, as far as like the setting of them, can be more realistic. Like Odd Taxi, aside from big animals, technically, like the setting is a city setting. It's a normal city setting, a normal job, a
Right.
taxi driver. It's a very straightforward and realistic, relatable thing. And obviously, like the characters themselves don't have superpowers or anything crazy going on like that. So it's like again, there are things that we can relate to, things that we can draw from, even as adults, that could make ourselves better and to help us to work through certain emotions. And people lose that by not even giving it a chance. So I hope people will do it. I'm gonna keep saying it throughout this whole podcast because that's what I want people to get out of this. It's worth trying.
Yeah. Definitely worth a shot. I like to your similar points about depression. My favorite actually is kind of masochistic because it's a little bit to your point about relatability. I've been through a lot in my life. So my favorite anime actually is Berserk,
Mm,
and Berserk is insane. Like it has so many different themes encapsulated into one story. And to your point about main characters and relatability, like I've been through the ringer and I see Guts go through the ringer, and to see someone understand that there's different things you can pull on, but at the end of the day, you have to understand where to take accountability and to pull on yourself the most. And you can keep going through a lot, and you can depend on people. You can build relationships through your life, the same way he built relationships with Griffith, the same way he built with Casca, and even Godon and everybody that built his swords and everything. It's a very it's small pieces and different ways that he grew from them. But the biggest thing he had to realize was that the only way I'm going to make it to the next step would be to take responsibility. That's why he even
mm,
walked away from Griffith in the first place. So I really love that relatability aspect because you really get to understand how to grow in your own life because these characters go through some stuff. It's like
mm.
I may not go through the eclipse, but you know what
Right.
I'm saying? I've been through some stuff, and it helps to notice somebody to go through even more than I did and show the perseverance is right there. Because I don't know if you guys ever seen that meme before. It's a really old meme, but it's like the top of it, it's like a guy digging for a diamond, and he stops and walks away, and the other guy digs for it a little bit more and he grabs it.
Mm,
And it's very much the same way how a lot of things people just kind of give up before they give things a chance. It's like keep going, give that thing a little bit more of a chance, and you will see it'll get the reward that you actually wanted. So
right.
it's helped me a lot in my mind in realizing that things could be wild, but censor it, take accountability for where you have gone wrong, grow, move forward.
I mean, accountability may be the biggest issue that's not talked about in America. I feel like, and I've talked about this with so many people. I don't know if I've talked this with you guys, but I talk about this with a lot of my other friends, and that's the difference between me and a lot of my other friends that are outside of you guys is like the self accountability I have for myself and what I'm doing, and like how I make myself do certain things, like, and I keep myself accountable. And I think a lot of people don't like, and like I say, even working in healthcare, we see a lot of people that, again, super unlucky, wrong place, wrong time, whatever else, genetics, unfortunate, or something like that, just getting unlucky. But then a lot of it is people that just don't hold themselves accountable to and don't give themselves, the proper care, proper nutrition, exercise, etc., stuff like that. And it's like, you know, we then say, oh, it's all the other stuff. Like, oh, it's the food people's fault for not putting out healthy options. Oh, it's, TV's fault for advertising all this stuff. Oh, it's Amazon's fault for making stuff so accessible to send to my it's like people always want to attribute blame to everything else outside of themselves. And that's, it's not, before I get too philosophical, it's like called the external locus of control, which
Mm.
is super common to make people unhappy because you feel like you don't have control over things going on in your life. And yes, to an extent you
Mhm.
don't. To an extent you do not, right?
Right.
But you have to take accountability and responsibility for the things you can control. And that's what makes you happier in general, is accepting the things you can control and letting go of the stuff you can't. That's what makes people happy. People that have that mindset, they're way happier in general, whether they're rich, poor, whatever. They are way happier because they have that mindset. And I think that if more people would try and like fix the mindset, and I think that's one of the big issues with the mental health stuff going on in America, is that people have these issue of, oh, I see this, and like you were saying, they see these people, oh, they have the diamond, so they might start digging, but then they like, oh, this is hard. All right, it didn't look that hard when they were digging. It looked easy. So now I'm gonna let this go. It
Done
just
with
ain't
it.
for me. It just ain't
Yeah.
for me. It's not meant to be. Whatever other cliche they want to throw out. People are
Yeah.
so quick to throw away that accountability and throw away what they can do.
What's possible?
Right. Throw away
There's
the
so
old
much in
possible.
life that's possible. Just got to actually give yourself a chance to do it.
Right.
Same way, like we said, the first minute. The same way with anime. Without looking at it with the prejudice, without looking at certain goals like they're unattainable, give it a shot. Give it a
Oh,
And you
shot.
never
You
know.
might like it.
I will say this as devil's advocate right now. Like, change is stressful, right? Like,
It
there's
is.
no amount of change that has happened to my life that where I was like, oh well, great, it's like, it's
Oh, so you'd rather
Yeah.
still be in a dorm room though?
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
Ah.
I guess, but I'm saying like
Ah.
that amount of change was, there was about a benefit there, but there still
Mhm.
was a lot in terms of overall stress that was happening, right? Like when I moved
fair.
to an apartment by
course.
myself where I had to pay bills, right? It's like, all right, well, yeah, now I got to worry about this new thing, right? And like,
Yeah.
Bills are
when I
uniformly
moved to this
trash.
house, yeah, it's still the same, right? Like, but to say like, and that's what we're, a lot of times that we think that like, oh, the stress-free route is the better route, right? So that's where our mindset ends up being. And I know that's a false statement. I mean, similar to what you're saying about exercise. I mean, I brought that up in the beginning, but like that's literally stressing your body, right? Like, you know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
but that's the better route. Like, we know that's the better route for a fact. And it's just like,
Right.
yeah, but working through that like is hard. Getting through that
It's hard.
like that
Yeah.
that bit of thing and
Perseverance.
right and a lot of people were saying like habits and stuff, and that's you
Mhm.
develop this, right? You develop skills by keep doing things like that. But anyways, I wanted to talk about that a little bit, but then I want to flip it back onto, of all things, to get from Berserk. Let me wait. The one thing that is
Stop it.
literally about gore, like you know what I mean? This means it took the most philosophical thing out of kill you, the anime. You know, I'm like, what? That's crazy to me. I thought this man was gonna go like talk about violence and all this other stuff, and he gets accountability out of this. Wow.
Because you have to think about it. Like, look, you gotta understand. Layers. Onions have layers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand. It's the deep parts of it. If he literally was like he was when he fought Bazuzo. That was the fat. I mean, that's just character. If you guys ever watched, it's a fat guy that he was renowned for killing like 5 guys in one battle, and no one could beat him at a time. But Guts was like 15 years old. If he continued to have the mindset that he had at that time, like, bro, I'm out here for the money. Fuck all y'all. None of y'all matter, bro. I'm gonna kill this guy. I'm get my money. I'm killing everything else, and I'm out of here. If he kept that mindset, then he would have never, you know what I'm saying, understood what he needed to do to get over the eventual eclipse. Because, bro, if he kept that mindset going into the eclipse, bro, then there was never the redemption after the Black Swordsman arc. So you have to take accountability in yourself to understand how to even get to the next step. Because there's always going to be some trash and some killing going to happen.
Right. I mean, it's definitely gory.
He's like, I sit for the entertainment, but then I take all of these facets out of it. I'm like, okay.
But that's what we're talking about. It's layers to the anime, and you stay for one particular thing, but you may get something else from it. Like, I did not expect to take the thing I took out of Mob Psycho. I thought it was going to be, the makers of One Punch Man. I thought it was going to be One Punch Man, the psychic version. That's what I thought it was going to be. That's what I thought. And I was totally wrong. It is leaps and bounds better than One Punch Man. And it is probably got to be top 30. No one can say it's not top 30 anime of all time for any person. I'm not saying for me. I'm saying for any person. If you can argue it's not in the top 30, there's something wrong with you.
I know, Rob. It may be in my top 5. It's in my top 10 for sure. Like, it might even be in my top 5. Like, to encapsulate comedy, battles, mystery, everything. It's insane. Romance, it's insane. It's the funniest and best thing out right now to me.
Self-growth, personal growth from start to finish for multiple characters.
Friends.
Oh man, yes. Like, I mean, come on. Reigen was a joke. And they turned him into a lesson. They turned him into a life lesson. That is crazy.
They lauded him for the lesson. All of his hair was gone, ass out. He's going to learn this lesson. Reigen learned that lesson.
That's true.
Body Club got in front of him, and they learned that lesson. They said, we're going to try, but it took his brother. They tried, but they learned the lesson. It takes other people to do it sometimes.
Mm-hmm. It's good. It's good. I'm just saying. So, but yeah, for sure think, I mean, that it's plenty to take from these different anime, and I mean, I think that, and in general, that there's definitely plenty of gore, plenty of things going on. But I think and before I go too far out of the bound of this, that part of the things like he was saying is that for the main character Guts in that show, he had to develop himself, not necessarily for what he was currently going through, but to be prepared for what he would eventually go through. And I think that that's part of the issue. A lot of people is that we wait until we're very reactive as a people, especially in America. We wait until something goes totally wrong to prepare ourselves for it. And that is a dangerous thing, because then when something does go totally wrong, you aren't prepared at all in any facet. And then it really affects you really negatively because you have nothing prepared. And I think mentally, if a lot of people kind of work on themselves, a little by little, like I said, even with, like, if it's exercise, if it's whatever else, you work yourself little by little. Let's say, I work on exercising little by little by little, and then I get into a car accident and I have to go do like physical therapy or something like that after. That becomes a lot easier now than it would have been if I had never started in the first place. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's stuff like that you're not going to see it. You may not see it coming. That's part of adulthood too. You don't see a lot of stuff coming.
For sure. For sure. I definitely didn't see that guy veering into my lane and knocking me into a telephone pole. But physical therapy got me back, and I'm going to be in the gym going great.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. You can't be prepared for everything, but you can at least, I think that's a lot of things. Again, I took from anime too. Some of those dudes, they don't know what they were getting ready for, but they were just getting ready to be ready. Like in a lot of anime, like a lot of anime, we've seen this constantly throughout anime. Like, even guys like, again, just go to Naruto. It's something very common anime. A lot of those dudes were training their whole lives, right? I'm talking about the side characters, right? Getting to be Joni,
Mhm.
getting to be Chuny, and whatever. And that's their cap. But they kept training, right? They didn't know it was gonna be a third grade Ninja War in their lifetime. They was like, "Oh, this Ninja Wars is done. We have peace. We good, man." And here come Madara, like, "Y'all think it's gonna find out today?" Like,
I got the 10 tails, baby. I want that junk. I'm
exactly.
starting the war.
And if they weren't ready, they would have got even worse, bro. I'm saying if no one was ready, if Mike Guy didn't train his tail off, if Naruto didn't train his tail off, if Sasuke decided not to train or not to even come back to the village, if all these people were like, we're gonna take the off, it's peaceful, they would have been in trouble. They would
More
have
than they
still been
already
asleep.
were.
They would have still been asleep in that pod. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
it's this as we can take all the time. And like again, that's maybe again part of the reason that I love anime so much, that I can take all this stuff and I can apply it to my life, even if I'm not directly going through it. Sometimes I think that's the biggest sign of adulthood, is to not have to directly go through something to take lessons and learn something from it. And I think in general, it kind of goes into one of my things that I want to talk about is, but we kind of already hit on it, is that perseverance and the feelings of hope that are things that are constants in anime, and the things that we can always take away from it, and just a general topic. And I think that's something that's super applicable to adults, especially in our current. I mean, in the last 5 years of America has been so many situations that have looked extremely tenuous, extremely hopeless for a lot of people, especially someone who's in healthcare with the whole COVID pandemic. I mean, we've had, 9/11. I'm just saying in our generation, just in our generation, 9/11. We've had Afghanistan. We've had obviously the COVID pandemic. We've had other epidemics. We've had so much going on.
H1N1.
We had H1N1. We had the anthrax jumps where people sending letters and killing people, taking people out. Like, we had all kinds of stuff like that just inspires fear, hopelessness, loss of feelings of control all the time. But again, like, there's one common thing in anime, is that even these super hopeless situations, to find that sliver, I mean a sliver of hope in these situations, to hold on to and guide you through, and not only guide you through, a lot of these people in anime, they taking the whole game with them on the back. They just
Fact.
don't go through by themselves. They gonna take someone else with them too. And that is something that I for sure will always appreciate about anime, because it's just in general, it inspires you to be like, okay, this is a bad situation, but let me just try to look for a possible silver lining, like Alonzo did with his car. He could have took that as a very, very negative situation, and he took, I mean, the sliver of hope that was there. Like, okay, all right, time to get this exercise in. Let's put in
Get
this work. And
back
hey,
on this
credit
bench.
to him. Exactly. And I think we just need more of that. And I think if anime is what inspires you to have more of that, then again, give it a try.
Please. Please.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's just something that I feel like I'm always taking from anime.
I mean, I definitely agree. I mean that that is definitely the story you want, right? In most of the life, and I don't know. I definitely, when you're going into watching a show, right? Like you said, you're trying to escape maybe, or I would hate in most cases, I love a good drama. I love a good, like a different telling that you don't normally get. But I also love, like, getting into a situation and feeling more hopeless, right? Feeling like I don't have control, or something, and sitting down watching a show where they persevere, right? They make it to the end, like, oh, that's what I want, right? It's like, oh, now I'm fired up. I mean,
Yeah.
like, honestly, like, well, watching Blue Lock, like, when we were
Right.
watching that, like, every time I'm just like, that's the shit, like, that's what I want. Like, I need to get pumped, right? I'm like, I could do these things. And like, I mean, there's so many shows that are like that, where it's just like, I don't know. I'm,
Hey, Alonzo,
fire me up. That's what I want.
speaking
Yeah.
of that exact thing, Alonzo, what was that junk you showed us? When we were talking about quotes.
Oh,
Oh, from Attack on Titan.
yeah.
Whatchamacallit?
Was that the one? The speech?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how did you feel first time hearing that, man?
First
Tell me
time hearing it, I was like, I'm ready to ride and die for everybody. Like, I'm going out to battle. I want you to know that I'm here for you. I
My
got your
boy was
back. I got you. I'll shoot a bootlegger.
my
I'm
boy
gonna
was
be out
out there.
there shooting and killing everybody.
He was
You don't
ready.
got to worry about me. Worry about yourself, because I got you.
I mean, yeah, and yes, bro, and that's what I'm saying, man. Like, I mean, it's like, man, the energy surge you can get, man, sometimes from it is so brilliant. Like, and again, I think Attack on Titan is maybe one of the is a great modern day example of anime that's very, very common, very, very a lot of people like to recommend it and talk about it. But that's a very like if you think about it, they're in the worst situation.
Yeah.
The worst situation.
Hands down.
Like,
Hands down.
and they are still hopeful. They are still persevering. They are still pushing and fighting every day, literally every day.
Yeah.
You know, like through the worst odds, the worst odds.
Literal death outside the wall. And they're
literally,
like, I'm gonna train to fight that.
like
I'm gonna try to fight that. They can just come here any day, but I'm gonna spend the next 20 years maybe having a chance to fight it.
they
You
could
see your mom get chomped.
right,
Is there any hope in your head anymore? You know what I mean? I'm just like,
right, and they're like, nope,
and they're
I'm
just
killing
like,
that chicken.
I'm killing that motherfucker. That motherfucker, he's mine.
That motherfucker mine.
It's crazy. And but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like I said, it's again, I know some people are gonna say, oh, it's not real, it's animated. Okay. Most stuff we see on TV isn't real. That's
For
fine.
sure. Even the
But that
reality
doesn't
TV isn't real anymore.
definitely not real,
Mm.
you know. And yeah, some of the, even some of the stories we see, Instagram stuff or Facebook, whatever you're using, some of the people, those stuff people staged a lot of it. But
Come
again,
on.
that doesn't mean you can't take something from it. That is not the point. Just because something is not put out and is quote unquote real does not mean that the emotions and feelings that you can get from it and draw from it are not. They are still real. There's a reason we cry at sad endings. There's a reason that we connect with certain characters. That's a common thing, and that is okay. You can just same way we take away those sad feelings from these sad movies and these tearful things. I know Robert, you're one of those people that likes to feel something from these shows, and like even if they're negative things. So like yes, just because if we can take these negative emotions and these not so great things, why can't we do the same thing with positive emotions from these shows? We
Mm.
can, we can. It's a choice. It's a choice to see and try and see it in the show, and then to try and draw it in and incorporate it. But again, I just think people got to give it a try.
I think
They did a shot.
you really hit on something, especially like you'll see so many of these like this older generation that like are going through life and it seems like mundane and numbing and all this stuff like oh he's a zombie now like what it's like but how are you entertained like how what are you getting where are you getting your energy or are you looking for these things and yeah I mean I think a lot of the regular shows especially now are not like that right they're not here to bring you hope they're just here
Yeah.
to show you the drama that is like normal life and I'm just like
Right.
okay well if that's what you want but I'm
I
like
could go do that at work.
right
Mhm.
it's like I want something that's gonna show me fantasy I'm gonna show me something more and
Expand my
it's
mind
like-
a little bit.
right and
That's one of the craziest parts about like just new media in general though, because I remember growing up as a kid, we were talking about the 90s and
Right.
all the villains were like, me bad, destroy the world, destroy the universe, I'm the greatest. But like, it gave you at least an understanding, at least you knew that, okay, I have a reason to go against this thing. But nowadays we get the Joker in Dark Knight and everybody loves the bad guy. So it's like,
Mm.
it's a different situation now because now people are compartmentalizing with their own problems. So they're saying it's okay to stay the same versus saying, okay, I see this sliver of hope, so I'm gonna go for that. They say, no, I'm gonna justify for my own BS and get over in social media where people are like me and stay that way. So it's a lot harder to break that scheme. Like you said, it is that thing where you don't want to automatically say it's about TV because it's filled with commercials, or it's about games because it's just filled with the same, or just filled with what you like, or you don't want to just say it's about just these things. But it's interesting because they play such a heavy element in playing against people's want. A lot of people want to see things out or see things through, and unfortunately, like the villains are a lot more persuasive nowadays. So these guys are not changing. They're like, well, I'm just gonna be myself because the villain said it's good to be this way.
Right. I mean, yeah.
I wanted to ask Lance one more thing. Okay. So one thing that we brought up before that I thought is super adult theme because only people who care about it are adults, and it's war, right? So like Naruto, Bleach, I was thinking Hellsing Ultimate, but every like, well, not every, but it's so many shows, Fate Zero, like so many shows do this war based thing, and I know you've been telling us recently to watch Kingdom, right? And I thought, again, is another one that is war based. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
What? Other than like maybe it's only action, and tell me it's only action. But is this why we watch these shows?
No,
what are we pulling from this? Again, perseverance maybe, but let me.
Kingdom is a great show. Let me say off the bat, there's a lot of action. That's what hooked me. But there's also some political mind games behind the scenes that play out, and that's what also is interesting. The interactions between the higher ups, the royalty families, how they try to play tricks on each other, how they try to game the system to get what they want, which is ultimately to be the emperor of China, essentially. But the action certainly is the biggest draw, the bloodshed, everybody screaming, everybody swinging that big old poleaxe on a horse. It's such an epic show. I recommend it. The first season's not that great. Second season's a little better. Third and fourth seasons are god tier. You gotta suffer through to get to the greatness. But you will be rewarded by some great action, great dialogue, great political landscaping, setting up for the show. Yeah.
Do you feel like
I gotta say one before you.
I think we may be talking about the same thing. Go ahead.
I don't know. I just want to say, you said political landscape and dialogue as reasons to watch an anime. I don't think there's a child on the planet that gives a freak about this. I'm just saying, if I had set a kid down to watch an anime like this has some great dialogue and political landscaping, you guys, that kid would throw some shit, throw some Legos at my head. Like, bro, there's no way he can watch that shit, man.
I'm not watching no damn political fights. No, sir.
Right? It's clearly for adults, It's clearly for an older audience, And so, I don't know. Again, we're fighting against no one here because everyone here's on the same page. But it's again, I just want to keep pushing to the point that like it's art for kids. And also, again, going back to the gore, some of the gore is so bad. It's in Attack on Titan, in Berserk. Let your kids watch if you want to. Do it if you want. You're gonna be up with them at night. That's gonna be your fault.
They'll be traumatized for life. I promise you that.
Blame yourself.
If they never seen it, oh man, do not introduce them to Berserk.
Not off
Inch them in. Other ones for sure. Other ones
11,
for sure.
12, 13, maybe,
Yeah.
Not off the bat.
A teenage one is kind of similar to Kingdom Vinland Saga. Like I said, that's another one that's war based, and that one you can kind of inch people in. It's a little bit more mature, but about the teenage based because it starts out pretty rough. You know what I'm saying? It starts out with a lot of action. Season 1 is insane with action, and then once they finally culminate everything together at the end of the first season, it's so beautiful. And then going into season 2, it's kind of that slow burn, and it's like, oh man, but. Just like Kingdom in season 4, at the end of it, man, it's just hack, knees, hands, arms. I need every piece of your body. It's just it's back to the war, and there it goes. All the action comes, but the lessons are still there.
I think I'm amazed that all of us kind of have like a war based thing as their like top anime picks, right? You with Berserk obviously. But Matt, you were talking about this before, but Code Geass, right, and also here with Kingdom, I'm like, that's kind of crazy. Like, I don't know, I would find myself like definitely not a political person like
Yeah,
at
yeah,
all,
no,
right? Like
not
I don't
really.
even any political TV show. I do not like it. Like it just
Right.
I don't know. It
Yeah,
just to me it
sure.
just seems like this again. This is too real life. It's too real life,
Right.
right? It's just like all
Yeah.
right, you know. But then then you put this in anime form, and they add the layer of like great action, and then they add the layer of like perseverance or whatever, like good story driven, stuff too. And it makes it good. And that's the other thing that I'm saying. I'm uh, like not only should you watch it because you're an adult and there are adult things, but it makes these adult shows that are bland as fuck so much better, right? I'm just like,
Right.
I was like, how many fantasy bullshit shows are on Netflix? You know what I mean? So many. Like,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
how many are good? You know,
Like
but like,
two, and they're both off. They're both off. They're
Like,
done. I'm like,
watch
the same thing you're watching. You can watch it in anime form, and there's a lot more versions of it that are just as good or better.
So
Just
much
saying.
better.
right.
Okay.
So much better. And to add to Rob's point, it's interesting to talk about the political thing. It's so much better anyway because real life is actually not the pushing papers, standing with their blue and their red ties. That's not the real life. The real life is going out and experiencing things. That's why school, for the most part, is not necessarily fun for us, as I guess as boys or whatever. But we want to go out and actually experience life. We don't want to sit here just writing things, listening to the teacher all day. You want to actually get out in life, experience something, check some things out, get some bumps and bruises, and actually do some stuff. That's fun.
Right. And I think if I'm again, that's kind of I don't know loosely how I feel about it is like if I'm gonna do things related to like start watching something to something that's like real life, like people, I get I'm not gonna call out this person, but I know this person that one of my friends they watch like basically people go and like travel blog and do things on YouTube and stuff like they watch people live their lives. I'm like
Yeah.
you go do it. Just go do it yourself. What are you
Just go.
doing? Like that
Yeah.
it frustrates me so much. I'm like, at least again, anime is not. I understand it's not real. I understand this, but again, like that's the point. Is it's an escape. Why just sit there and like Rob, like you were saying, like you're living the same life, same thing over and over, and over and over and over and over. Like I'm not watching the same anime over and over again. I'm watching something
Right.
different. There's different topics, different things to draw from. And of course, none of us just watch anime. We all watch other stuff besides anime. But again, like there's so many topics and things that are encompassed in an anime. There's so many things you can take from it. So many different styles, art styles, even of anime, just that you can draw from. Like it's almost like it's hard to get bored of it. Like you have to
Right.
really try. I think I've watched more than I think anyone in our friend group has watched a lot and I'm still not bored of it. Like, and I still haven't watched. I still haven't watched even some of what they've watched. Like, it never ends, and it's in the best way possible. And like again, it can add something to your life. It can add something to your life tangibly. Like, I'm not knocking people that want to watch, travel blogs, whatever else. Maybe that tells you know where you want to go. Sure, fine. But
Sure.
again, like those things you can go and experience yourself.
You're
And
saying take
anime
something
lets you.
from it.
Right. Take something from it. Take something from what you're watching. Not everything, because of course we need to mind numb too. Everybody needs to mind numb
Good
sometimes,
point.
but not all the time. Not
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
That's where it becomes
It's
dangerous.
like 70-30. Don't just mind them
Right.
so much. Just a little
Right.
bit at a time, man. Give yourself a good break.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I mean, nobody trying to think all the time. No. No.
Man.
I agree.
but
Man.
but sometimes it's nice to have a little firing, a little something different firing in your head, and brings up discussions like we're having today. And it's something you can bring to other people. Fun to watch other people and talk about, discuss, bring a topic you can eat, over dinner, whatever else. It's great. It's great. And I
Those are the
think,
best conversations anyway, right? When neurons are kicking, when everything's are going. You don't want to have a conversation with someone. It's like, how was your day? Yeah, how's the weather? Yeah, my kids, they went to
okay,
school. They got a good report card. Like you don't want to get that same old thing every time. So it's always good to learn and actually see some stuff. Oh man, did you see about that? Pretty dope.
right? And I think again, even just general topics. You can take there's things in anime that have happened that bring us to topics that relate to real life. And that again has been even one of our topics in other podcasts, but even in things that we've talked about outside the podcast too. And I think, again, it brings a little more spice to your life because those are things you maybe wouldn't think about normally. And again, you can bring that to other people, bring those spice. Like people always talk about like me when I'm in like certain social situations, like, oh, you bring up all this stuff that's interesting to talk about. I'm like, half of the stuff, I just kind of seen it off of anime. I'm like, yeah, I wonder what people feel about this, and I ask.
Mm.
And that again, it's like it just brings a little bit extra spice to your life, the people and your friends, all that stuff. Instead of just sitting there doing the same mundane every time. And like I said, it can do a little bit something different every time with anime. And I feel like I'm selling anime to people right
Sell it. Sell it. Be the
now.
advertisement for anime for us.
But anime, it's great. But
Harley. Harley.
Mhm,
Mob. The mob.
like,
Shoot, to your point, other mediums, the boys. Hey, the boys.
true. Again, it spans beyond this, but just saying, it adds a little something when you can have this as a part of your life. And
Exactly.
I just want everyone to have that. I want everyone to enjoy that part of their life too. That's why I'm pushing it so hard. I want y'all to enjoy it, to love it, to feel it the way we feel it. That's all.
to
Don't
the
want y'all to
point
miss out.
to the point of the boys, I think,
Huh?
and I mean, it's probably not completely, this thing, but I think
Mhm.
that a lot of these new shows are taking anime and comic, all those normal tropes,
Yeah.
and they're putting
Yeah.
it in live action shows, and they'll be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, here's a new thing." And we're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
we've been
Yeah.
watching it the whole fucking time. Like the anime guys, we're just like, hey, okay, this is
Facts.
My
Been on
Hero, the show. Okay,
Facts.
you know what I mean? Like
Live
you got
Action
it.
Academia. Appreciate it.
You know what I mean? Like
With more
I
sex.
With loads of sex and hero gasms. That's all.
Yeah,
but I'm like, but honestly though, you know what I mean? Like you're seeing these more often than not. Like, hey, we want a show about perseverance. We want a show about we don't want to, and these are the shows that get big, right?
right.
Like like the boys, like what was it called? The animated
Invincible.
Invincible. How did he know what I was talking about? but but yeah, like in Invincible too, where like people realize like, oh, if a big
Yeah.
company made an animated show and made it
Mhm.
for adults, but guess what? Guess what? It works.
Gonna be fire.
It's been working for a long time, and now they're realizing they're like, oh well, we could just get this money easy. I mean,
Right.
imagine not having to fucking use a camera
Hire
and
physical actors, yeah.
or crazy amount of CGI. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that no more. Hey, we can just animate and do it in an art style that's pretty old. I'm not saying like their animation is awful, right? It's still good. It's still really good. But I'm just saying
Yeah.
like as
Yeah.
they're not doing, Into the
They're
Spider
not doing
Verse,
K.
like level animation.
Right.
Like
Right.
they're doing
Right.
base level and it's great. I'm just saying. Now I'm selling it. We're all selling. Why are we doing this?
Sell
We're
it.
like,
Sell
Hard
it.
not to, man. It's hard not to. I mean, we talked about. I mean, and I know we're talking about now. Don't worry, we're totally veering off topic. We're talking about visuals. I mean, the end of Jujutsu Kaisen, that closing, a tear drops down my eye. How gorgeous the visuals are at the closing scene of Jujutsu Kaisen.
God.
My God, dude. And again, like you're saying, they're not even getting anywhere near. No, again, I'm not saying this is wrong because, again, anime and animation in general, it's art styles. Art styles not supposed to be the same. They're not supposed to.
Exactly.
But they are putting significantly more time and effort and detail into their animation in anime and more because the standard of anime is getting better. The standard of animation, even in bad anime, it's getting better.
Yeah.
Because we were talking, this one we were talking about recently that looks really good. Yeah. The cheat skill jump. The
cheat
Isekai cheat
yeah.
skill. And it's like it's base like 7 out of 10 maybe anime. Base level solid, okay, anime, but it's gorgeous. And again, that's much effort in the animation for anime that aren't even necessarily considered, top tier.
Yeah.
Is for one appreciated by me. But again, it just goes to show you that it's if you're talking about you appreciate animation and you appreciate these things in these other shows that are animated, then go and translate that, and you'll probably appreciate it even more with the level of dedication and time they put. Not saying they're not putting in these other shows, they are, but there's a different level to it that they're putting because they've been doing it for longer. In general, of course, you're going to be a little better in these other anime. And I think, again, like you said, there's tropes and topics that are bridged several times over in anime that are being now popularized. And I think that's part of the reason we're seeing more people get into anime. Because they're starting to realize that subconsciously, or
I
maybe
think
even
what
consciously.
I think what'll help with that is again the fact that people have that stigma is because someone's come from Japan or something, right? Because it's that whole so for people who will have the status quo of the same old streaming platform, everybody has Netflix, right? Everybody just needs to go check out Castlevania. Boom. Plain and simple. I really believe that will help out so many people because to your point about adult themes, gorgeous visuals, like oh my god, you talk about ending scene versus death, bro, get out of here. Like it's insane. Every visual in Castlevania is just death's kiss. Visual story, they're cussing in it, so if anybody think it's childish, everybody's it's 3,000 fucks is in it. Like it's so much, yo. So I would recommend if people have a problem with tropes, check out Castlevania.
See that one, and I would also say, in terms of visuals, I'm like, I don't think there's anime yet to beat Fate in terms of fights, in terms of visually amazing fights. I'm like, Fate's. I mean,
It's the standard.
Alonzo, we talked about Fate Zero so many fucking times, and even on this podcast. But like, Fate is so good. Every time Berserker's on the screen, I'm just like, okay. show me the beauty, okay? But yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's been good, and I think we've probably should be getting checks in the mail from Funimation and
I want my endorsement, Crunchyroll. Give me that Crunchy. I need it.
Feel free to
Netflix money for that Castlevania
and Netflix for Castlevania. I'm gonna need that. You know what I'm saying?
Waiting on those checks. We waiting on those checks. But we know we've been real extra today, so now we need to get into extra time.
Extra time, my favorite time of the day. Let's get right into it. All right. So big news this week, soccer world. I know my boy got the kid on. Lionel Messi is to join the MLS. He's joining Inter Miami.
They're terrible.
Leaving.
They're terrible. They're the worst team in the league. But USA.
I believe all of them. MLS is terrible. I went to an MLS game in Utah once. God awful play.
Utah?
But
God.
yes. Okay. Real Salt Lake.
Apparently, I hear they gave him everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an astounding contract.
They gave him a lot, and the ticket prices also went up a lot. They said like over 1,000% ticket price increase. So, yeah,
Messi.
it's gonna be hard to see a game with him, but he's here. He's in the country. He's here.
There you go.
Let's see. NFL news. Bills QB Josh Allen is the cover athlete for the new Madden game, Madden 24. Madden's pretty trash, but
yeah. Not
cover athlete.
Josh Allen.
He'll probably get the cover curse, which means the Bills aren't going to do anything this year. So sucks to be him.
They haven't done anything anyway.
Yeah. NBA Finals was tonight, Game 4. The Denver took it to the Miami Heat again. So they have a commanding 3-1 lead heading back to Denver for Game 5. Not looking good for Miami. Looks like it's going to be a gentleman's sweep. But, they made it here. They took a game. So congrats to them. I'm calling it. I'm sticking a fork in them.
I got the broom with you. I got the broom already. I put my top hat with it's a gentleman one. I get the broom.
Let's see. NHL Stanley Cup Finals. The Las Vegas Golden Knights lead the Florida Panthers 2-1. Women's college softball. The Oklahoma University women's softball team won their third straight NCAA title. I looked at that.
God,
balling.
That's a dynasty. They
balling.
Balling out.
God. It's third.
I like it.
But to finish out tonight, I wanted to first for the first time, talk about golf. There was a big news this week that the PGA Tour something called the DP World Tour and the Saudi Arabian-backed league called LIV Golf Tour are merging, and it's a huge point of contention between PGA and LIV because they were suing each other because they stole some golfers from the PGA Tour. PGA didn't want LIV to be a tour because they were backed by Saudi Arabia. They didn't want them to operate in the country. It was a huge deal. So the fact that they're merging, people are concerned because it's Saudi Arabian money.
Yeah.
They feel like it's blood money. I think you all remember Jamal Khashoggi, the journalist who got taken out by some Saudi Arabian people. So some big name golfers like Phil Mickelson, he actually joined the LIV tour when it first came out, and he got $200 million. So $200 million for essentially 2 years in the tour. So he got the bag. Other golfers like Tiger Woods fumbled the bag because he refused to sign with the LIV tour when they offered him $800 million. And that would have been for 2 years, and they would have merged. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Hey, it's a lot of money in his life.
He's earned a lot of money.
He has.
He's earned close to $1 billion, but
and I'm sure his brand is way bigger than Phil's.
In 2 years is crazy. Yeah. You said.
But now it's all one big happy league. But not a lot of golfers are happy because they only found out when everybody else found out, and that was through Twitter, through ESPN. So it's going to be interesting because the U.S. Open's next week. All the big golfers are going to be there. But I know y'all ain't playing golf. Maybe talk golf, but
yeah.
How would y'all feel about getting dirty money? Like they say God works in mysterious ways and to never look a gift horse in the mouth. I really don't know what that saying means, but Tiger gave up $800 million for morals. Like someone could execute a dude in the back of the head in front of me, pull out $10,000, and I may look the other way. Like, that may make me an accessory to murder, but $10,000 may make it all right. I don't know. We'll see. But what are y'all thinking about dirty money?
That's too cheap, first off, Alonzo. Devalue yourself.
Yo.
You can't be devaluing yourself like that. They at least need to give you 100 rags. At least 100 rags. Get out of here. Come on, man.
That 10K gonna be gone before you need it for commissary, boy.
Come on, man. Come on.
He looking up at you. Say, don't tell anybody or I'm gonna kill you. His $10,000. You know what? You a 6'7" boy. Make it 100.
Going up 90 on that.
You know, like, but no, I'm shit.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a good question, man. It's a good question. What dirty money will make you talk, Rob?
I would say, in this situation, definitely that he brought up, like, oh, somebody killed somebody, he turned over to you. Like, no matter what money he giving me, I'm taking that money, right? I'm like, what? It don't matter. I'm like, he can give me, He can give me 50 cents and say, don't say nothing. Here's 50 cents. I'd be like, yep. I ain't gonna say nothing as long as you don't kill me. It's like, what? Someone get money now, but saying like, all right, I don't know this guy. He turns out to be a terrible guy, and he, I need an investment. I'm down bad. And I'm down bad. I don't know if I know me, and I won't be asking no questions. You know what I mean? I'm not asking any.
Yo, bro.
Where'd this money come from? Did it come on the back of someone else's? No, fuck that.
You know where the money comes from. Because in this situation, in this question, you know where the money comes from. I mean, and let's just say your current situation. Let's not put you, because anyone down bad gonna take money. Come on now.
Right. Like, anybody.
Right.
You got no choice. I mean, I guess you do, but it's just, not really.
Let's say your brother, right? He robs somebody. Right, he gets a bunch of money, and he gives you half the money. You taking the money,
How much is a bunch? No,
Let's
How
say
much
let's
is
say
a bunch?
let's say he robbed somebody $100,000. He said, "I'm gonna give you $50,000. I'm telling you, I robbed this guy. I'm gonna give you $50,000. You're not taking it.
no, 50 ain't enough. I'm more expensive than
Amazing.
that. Because
That's
they'll
amazing.
throw my black. I got too much to lose. They'll throw my
I
black
didn't
ass
do
in jail
nothing.
for.
All I did was get
You
$50,000 in my
no,
bank.
you black. You automatically did something. You already did something.
By default.
By default, you're black and you have stolen money. You did something. It doesn't matter. Like I am not touching it. I ain't saying nothing. He can do what he want to do, but I ain't taking it. 950. That's not enough. But also, if he stole from someone I don't like, it
Yeah.
helps make that decision.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Asking real
Support it a little bit
questions.
more.
Now we talking. Now look, you got some ops. You know what I'm saying? Look, we got some enemies. We like
should have kept a tighter grip.
I don't know.
that guy. You know, I'm gonna get that 80. You know, might be alright. I'm gonna get that 100. You know, I'm be alright. I'll take the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. I'm gonna give you 40. You know what I'm saying? I don't like him. I'm gonna give you 40. Let me get the 60 and I'll shut
If it
up. You gotta
appears
give
in
me
my
60
account,
40.
if it appears in my account, I mean,
That's what I'm saying too.
hey,
I'm
look
like,
at God. Look at God.
I'm not gonna try to give money back if that's what you're asking ever. What am I stupid? I'm like I'm never gonna try to give money back. I don't care where that money came from. It's like I can be an accidental transfer randomly from my brother. From my brother. I'm like, damn, I done sent $20 to you. Can I get that back? I'm like, damn, bro. I don't know
You
where
gotta
that.
think about that though. If you don't transfer the money back to a dude willing to rob somebody, what you think he gonna do to you?
Rob you. He gonna rob
What
you.
you think he gonna do to you?
Right?
Huh?
Yeah.
You don't want to transfer 40% back to the dude who happened to do something heinous to somebody else. He gonna pop up at your front door at 3:45 a.m. where you're like, hey, Rob,
345.
3:45,
I know
right
you
on your
got my money.
window. Like, hey, sir, what are you doing, sir?
On the bell light.
I know you got my money.
You busy, sir? Are you sleeping, sir? What are you doing, sir?
He's gonna wake you up in the middle of the night, just over your bed. He's like, "Hello, sir."
Hello, I saw you got some funds in your accounts.
There
So,
was
No,
an
okay,
accident in your bank, sir. Did you
about
not
that
get my text?
transfer.
Okay, but I want to seriously answer this question. So, seriously answer your question. If I'm Tiger Woods and say I'm Tiger Woods, I'm in that situation. 800K, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Imagine how much
Morally,
change you can do with that money, though. That's the
okay,
other thing.
yes, that's true. So
Yeah.
I will say this though, but I'll say for me, if I'm in Tiger Woods' situation, and I'm back to why I'm wearing this shirt, the Messi situation. Messi could have made more money in Saudi Arabia. He could have made literally said $1 billion straight up with way less work, way less conditions. It's straight up 1 billion, straight up basically.
I thought he made
the only
1.6.
yeah, I think it's something. Yeah, that's what the add-ons. It's 1 billion. It's like no matter what.
Oh,
It's like
the
add-ons. He
add-on.
would have made more, right?
Gotcha.
So he'd like do that, and he would be like an ambassador for their World Cup bid or whatever. So like, which he just really just has to show up and be there. Doesn't have to actually do anything.
Yeah.
He just shows up, say, "Oh, I'm in Saudi Arabia, so bring the World Cup here." Nothing.
All right.
So again, he turned that down, which is again with add-ons, he probably could have made at least double, maybe triple what he makes in America. But he
Wow.
turned it down, right? Now I don't know if his reasoning is the same as Tiger Woods' reasoning, but what I do know from again, I watch a little more soccer news than probably you guys, that he prioritized family and lifestyle over the money in that situation, right? Because he already has more than enough money that he can even think to deal with, most likely, And I think Tiger Woods is in a similar situation where he's like, I have more than enough money that I probably can even think to know what to do with anyway. Why do I need to take dirty money that now I have to figure out what to do with as well? So those people in those situations, they probably already have enough money to, like you said, make the changes they want to make in the world and do things they want to do differently and live the lifestyle they want to do comfortably. What is the point in taking now compromising your morals, not only for yourself to feel bad personally, which I hope they would feel at least a little bad, but then to now compromise that for the world publicly to now change their views of you, which you are a personal and public, figure in sports as well. which is part of where some of your money comes from because of endorsements and all that stuff too. And so you compromise that as well as your character, as well as your children's thoughts and feelings about you as well, and the way people you generally in general interact with your wife, your kids, all those feelings. So to me, if I'm in that situation, I would feel the same way as Tiger. I probably would turn it down because again, I have more than enough, and I know that I have more than enough to do the things I need to do and want to do in my life. What's the point in taking dirty money that compromises me in multiple ways when I don't have to? I don't need it.
I agree with you on that. It's a thing people don't think about. It's such a small percentage of people make only over $100,000. It's like, bro, so much money. It's so much money in the world, and there's so many people with a lot of money. They have so much money, they don't know what to do with it. So, like I said, I could take 200 million and be totally fine. I don't need the 800, especially to put that on my person. I'm fine, especially when I know my names. Like I said, Tiger name bigger than Phil Mickelson, so his brand itself is going to make that in a year or two. So it's fine. I'll take the 200, keep my name right, make sure my family's good, and I don't have to worry about the crap.
I wouldn't have a term for this, but imagine you can. It's like money unlaundering. You know what I mean? You're taking
unlaundering.
You're taking these like blood money, like you said, and then you can convert it to whatever you want. I mean, yeah, that's
the hopes and dreams.
I'm like, but I know that's like not your job to be this
imagination,
philanthropic like person or whatever, like to be this like good person for the world, but. Someone's offering you a $800 million contract, and you can take that, or you ask for $1 million, right? And you can take, or $1 billion, and you can take that, and you can immediately put that into a system helping people instead of hurting people. I think.
Isn't that what the mafia did? Somebody in Chicago, the mafia.
Yeah, a little bit.
Put in some community programs with all their dirty money.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. That's
not
actually laundering. That's actually laundering. Yeah. That's actually.
Talking about the opposite. But
you said unlaundering.
I don't know. Overall, though, Alonso, you say you would take the money.
If you're in Tiger,
dead stop, Tiger full stop.
Tiger Woods, 800 million, yes. That's setting my family up for 100 generations. Granted, I'm never gonna have kids, but still,
bro.
How are you not set with the money he already has? How are you not? What are you doing with the money? What can you
always
do?
need more. Once you're rich, you always need more money.
No,
that's how they keep getting richer.
Robert just said you have so much money to get everything you want. Once you get everything you want, what the hell else could you want? It's like there's nothing else to want.
I'm gonna build something to want.
And you'll still have another 150 million left. It's like there's still so much more to do. It's like, there's so much more money. We don't even quantify what 200 million truly is. So the 800 million, oh my god.
What am I gonna do with that?
I mean, Elon bought Twitter for $44 billion just cause.
That was a stupid decision.
Because of a meme. Like
he dumb.
You're gonna end up like
billions.
They did coerce him into that though, because he was like, I want it, then they was like, yeah, motherfucker, now that you said you want it, now you gotta take it for more than what you were gonna get it for. So he was trying to back out, and then they was like, nah, bro, we out of here, so you gotta take it now. So he saw the shit show and said, I'm not paying this, and then it was like, oh, if I don't pay this, I'm gonna have to pay more. So he had no choice in that situation. You know what I'm saying?
That was him being a dumbass.
He wanted to troll, and he's a dumbass. You know what I'm saying? So
you're dumb just like Daniel.
Yep. That's exactly what I was about to say. I was like, you can end up with all this money, and you don't know what to do with it. You end up like Daniel the millionaire, sitting at a fucking Indian restaurant, random fucking
bar.
At 2:30 on an afternoon, fucking Saturday after, or no, it was like Friday afternoon.
What did you eat?
Telling people you can't even imagine how rich I am. It's like that's like he's right.
Oh man, the
Yo.
oldest, the drunkest, and the richest.
And the fucking
Fucking
richest.
That guy is a character. Oh my gosh, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But this has been good. This has been good. And as much as we love doing it week by week, we are fortunately taking a little bit of a hiatus, mainly because of me. So I got a lot of ish going on. Got to take my test next week. But in general, I think it's a good time to take a hiatus. 11 episodes in, take a little bit of time off, refresh, recoup, come back with some new, fresh ideas, fresh energy, and hopefully, have a little bit more to give you guys. In the meantime, anyone that's questioning starting anime, start it. Got a week. You got a week to watch it.
Yep.
I do got a correction. For Odd Taxi, the guy is a walrus, not a hippo. So
Good.
I wanted
Good.
to
You were
get
about to
that
get
out.
canceled for that.
It's been
So
bugging
I'm
me the
so
entire
glad.
episode.
So glad you said that.
We could avoid the copyright. Now we got God no.
Now they'll send you the check.
I mean, what is check?
Get that right.
Anyway, but yes, again, it's been great, guys, and thanks for our special guest coming on here. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys letting me on, man.
But again,
And I hope to be on more. Not to interrupt in the last part. I really do hope to be on more because again, I do love the aspect of just talking about more than just anime. Like, not to take just anime off. Anime's so good. But like you said, the fact that anime can touch so many lives because it's not just about animation. It's like, bro, actually grow and learn from some dope, cool shit. Not just people beating on each other in reality TV. Not just the same old Spider-Man and BS Marvel stuff. Like, actually see some cool ideas and people's real creativity brought to life.
Yeah,
I want to talk more about it.
for sure. So we'll definitely have a little bit more for you guys, new guests, different guests, all these things, new ideas, everything fresh and new just for you. But until then, thanks for procrastinating with us. We out.